But in some worlds, crossing the finish line doesn't mean you get a shiny new creation. Sometimes it leaves you with a pile of rubble. And that's just what these guys want, because they're demolition men. And their job isn't to create, it's to destroy. Downtown Hartford, Connecticut. A busy urban area with shiny high-rises, modern architecture, and this. An 80,000 square foot eyesore that once housed a news channel. The building has to go, but that won't be easy.
This building is built in the 60s. They built it like a fortress, you know. It's just amazing that how they built this structure with so much steel.
The Industrial Wrecking Company will have 5 months to complete this project. It's a serious schedule. And if it's not met, it'll cost a pretty penny.
You know, depending on the size of the project, it could be a lot of money, a couple of $1,000s a day.
The battle lines have been drawn. It'll be a 5-month showdown. Man and machine versus a tough concrete and steel building. Who will come out on top?
Unusual things happen. It depends on how well a building was built, and unfortunately, even if you have the plans of how a building was built, it doesn't tell you how strong the building is.
3 months in, and the project has been running smoothly. Until now. Construction engineers are quickly realizing the building is much stronger than they thought. To stay on schedule, engineers have to create a significant structural failure. They zero in on 2 columns holding up the upper level. By attaching choker cables to the beams and using an excavator, engineers hope they'll make quick work of a large part of the building. The excavator is a Cat 245. It weighs in at 140,000 pounds. It's usually a demo man's best friend. But today, this monster of destruction is having a rough go.
What was unexpected was when we pulled out the second one, the building didn't come down. It just settled a little bit. That's a attribution to the well-built concrete construction that they used back in the early 60s.
The wrecking crew doesn't have time to fight with this building. They know they need more ammo. Enter the pulverizer. With up to 90 tons of crushing force, the pulverizer is a beast. Its jaws open up 6 to 8 feet across, and it chews through concrete as if it were cardboard.
245 munched into the floor a little bit to loosen it up. And then he reached up with his big boom and pushed down on the top of the 4th floor to push the building down into the hole. Once he got it going, then the weight took it the rest of the way down.
Tons of concrete and steel that defied the elements for more than 50 years, demolished in mere seconds. And with that, this job just made considerable progress. But there's still a long way to go before the building falls.
It's definitely built like a bomb shelter. We didn't anticipate it being this, you know, the rebar is all over the place. As you can see, it's spaghetti up there. Probably about 8 to 10 inch floors.
The excavator, even with a pulverizer, can't do this job on its own. It's taking too long. And the last thing this wrecking crew has is time. So now they call in the big guns. The wrecking ball.
There are a lot of restrictions with regard to wrecking ball in built-up surroundings like in cities. The contractor was having a difficult time with some of the concrete in certain areas, and he had to use it vertically, not swinging it, you know.
In other words, this massive 3.5-ton chunk of metal will be dropped on top of the building, using gravity to ram through the thick layers of concrete.
You pretty much strategically hit the building, so gravity will do most of your demolition.
Sounds easy enough, but it's not. Controlling a 7,000-pound chunk of metal dangling from the end of an 80-foot boom is extremely dangerous. Al Capaziello would know. He spent more than 60 years working with the ball and crane.
The wrecking ball is like a dinosaur. It's also like a boomerang. Like it's continuously turning, spinning. And it goes out and it comes back at you. You can't take your eye off that ball for a second. It will come right in the cab and kill you.
Al managed to survive decades working with the old ball. Today, he's keeping a watchful eye on his brother Craig, who's running the crane.
Right now, we've got some little ball action going on, bringing the top down. It's fun. It brings us back to the old days. These days, we're getting a little more modernized in the industry with high-reach excavators and things like that. But the old ball harkens back to days of yore.
The wrecking ball is certainly not the most technologically advanced instrument of destruction, but it works. And since its birth in early 20th century New York City, it has rammed its way through building after building. And on this job, the crew used it wisely. No accidents, no slowdowns.